Okay. Yes, so this problem says that the company has accumulated capital from 4 lakh equity shares whose prices are rupees 10 each, and thus the amount is standing at 40 lakhs. Then there are reserves and surplus of rupees 60 lakh. Then there are loans of two different types. One is of debentures of 15% rate of interest, and one is from institution, from any institution, and the rate of interest is 14%. So two types of loans are there, and third one is reserve and surplus, and fourth one is equity share capital. So four types of capitals are given, all the three types, but this since debentures are of two separated categories, so I'm saying four types. Okay, then rest of the information are other information as relevant that are given in the previous year's data. You have to take the year. Okay, this is this 31st December 1988, and data related to 1984, 85, 86 that are given. Okay, so it will give a hint for our growth rate calculation. So what is it? The dividend per share are given, earnings per share are given, and average market price per share that are given to you. Okay, let us see how will we use this. You are required to calculate the weighted average cost of capital using book values as the weights and earning price value as the basis of cost of equity. Okay, so our problem is solved. Okay, so what you have to do is using the book value means these values that are given to you, book value on the liability side of the company's balance sheet. Based on that, we have to calculate the weightage, and based on that, we will calculate the total weighted average cost of capital. Okay. So let us start. You make this format. Give a heading, calculation of weighted average cost of capital. Give a heading in your copy. Don't write the question. You can write it later on. Give a heading in your copy, weight calculation of weighted average. Sorry. Calculation of weighted average cost of capital. So after that, you make 4 columns. First column heading, you give capital structure. First column heading should be capital structure. Second column heading, you write book value. Book value in bracket, you write weights, because from this we will calculate the weight. Okay. Then after that, you write after tax cost. You write after tax cost. And the last one is weighted cost. You can do it this way also, like the way it is shown in your screen, or you can do it like the previous sum also. I mean, there also you had book value, no? From there you calculated the weights. It was directly given to you. Okay. So what you can do is you can calculate the weight and then multiply the weight with the after tax cost. How will you calculate the weight? It would have been 40 lakh divided by 1,80,000. 60 lakh divided by 1 lakh 80,000, 20 lakh divided by 1 lakh 80,000, like that. Okay. Or else you can do it in the way it is shown in your screen. Okay. So we need to calculate the weights also, isn't it? We need to calculate the after tax cost. Okay, so you calculate see your previous formula, how to calculate the cost of equity and cost of reserves and surplus. You see the formula, what was the formula out there? Tell me. What is the formula for calculating cost of equity share? What is the formula? Tell me. Hey, tell me the formula. Formula for calculating equity, cost of equity share.
Ma'am, DP by MT plus growth.
DP by MP. Okay. So DP means dividend per share, right?
Yes,
DP
ma'am.
means dividend per share and MP means market price, correct? Okay. All right. So, and plus G was also there, right? So you have to see the last year's growth rate. Check what is the growth rate from 85 to from 84 to 86. You have to see because just a second, huh? No, from 85 to 86. How much is the growth rate? Or else what you can do is you can take the average, because here 84, 85, 86 is mentioned. In the middle 87 is not mentioned, and you have been asked to calculate for 88, and you cannot calculate, you cannot assume anything on the growth rate of 87. Had some value of 87 been given, then you would have easily calculated the growth rate also if the growth would have been same. But in this scenario, but listen to me very carefully, okay? This is a different concept in these types of problems. See in your screen, the dividends per share 3 years data is given, earnings per share 3 years given, average market price per share also 3 years given. So what we will do in this case is, instead of calculating the growth rate, because 87 data is not given to us and we have to calculate for 88, right? So what we will do is, we will take the average. We will take the average. Okay. So, what we will do, since here earnings per share is given, so we will take earnings per share, not dividend per share. Okay. When earnings per share will be given, we will take the earnings per share. So, you see the earnings per share data are what? 7.50, 6.0 and 4.50. So, all these are messed up. No, there is no constant rate of growth. Yeah, although in case of earnings per share, it can be seen it is somehow, somehow it is constant, but you see in case of dividend per share, the growth rate is not same. It was 4 in 84, again it decreased to 3, there was no growth, then it increased to 4. So there is an irregular growth, irregular dividend movement, right? Although in earning per share it is quite regular, but check this average market price per share. This is also regular, but this main thing, which is the earnings per share, it is not, sorry, which is the dividend per share, because that is what we use, no, that is what it has to be taken care of while calculating the cost of equity. That is not showing an regular movement. Even if it would have shown regular movement, still one question is still there, that at 1987 data is not given, isn't it? 84, 85, 86, and 87 missing, and you have to calculate for 88. That is why in these types of cases, you have to remember, keep this in your mind. If uniform rate is there and continuous period date of, I mean the end date is given, year ending date is given, then you can calculate the growth rate. But in these cases, when the year ending date is not regular, it's not continuous, also the data is not uniform in all the way, even if one of the data is not uniform, that is a matter of question, okay? So in these cases, you will take the average. What I mean is, in order to calculate this equity shares 15%, and tell me what is the formula for cost of retained earnings, that you also tell me. Check your copy and tell me what is the formula of cost of retained earnings. What is the formula for cost of retained earnings? Tell me, you all are sleeping or what? What is the cost of retained earnings formula?
Ma'am, EP1 minus T by 2 by MP.
What?
EP1 minus T by 2 by MP.
Okay. When tax rate is given, that is for tax rate, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you remove that part, what is the formula? Earnings per share by market price. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you will use that formula, EP by MP. And that is why the cost of equity and cost of reserves and surplus is going to be same. Because in case of cost of equity also we will use earnings per share, and in case of cost of retained earnings also we will use earnings per share. So if you calculate, first you calculate the cost of equity share and cost of reserves and surplus, okay? How will you calculate? You will write, see the working in your screen. EP ratio, don't write EP ratio, you write cost of equity share and cost of retained earnings. That way you write cost of equity share divided by cost of equity share and cost of retained earnings, you write working beyond the table you will write this. Okay, you write cost of equity share and cost of retained earnings equals to average earnings per share divided by average market price. Okay, so we are keeping the formula uniform and we are using the EP ratio concept. If you remember, I had given you three different formula for cost of equity share. We are using probably the second one, I think. Just a second, let me see. No, it is the third one. Earning price approach formula. EP formula. Okay. Because retained earnings also will be calculated at once. That's why we are using this formula. And we are taking earnings per share. We are taking the average of that divided by average market price of the share. So if you take average, you see whether it is 6 and 40 or not. And tell me, yes, ma'am, it is 6 and 40. Tell me. From the questions, additional information you will have to calculate the earnings per share, average earnings per share, and average market price also per share. Tell me whether they are 6 and 40 respectively. How to calculate average? Tell me. Doesn't require much time. Okay, you calculate this. I'm taking attendance. Is it 6 and 40? Tell me. How are you calculating the average? At least speak something so that I can understand you are doing. Yes.
Ma'am, I'm not understanding this. Six part means average earnings.
Average earnings means average earnings per share. In your question, 3 years data is given, no? In earnings per share, 7.50, 6 and 4.50 given.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to take average of that.
Okay.
Understood? Yes. Take the average. 7.50 plus 6 plus 4.50 divided by 3.
Okay.
And similarly, for market price per share also, you take average of these 3 years given.
Okay.
Okay. Do it and tell me.
Yes, ma'am, it's 6 and 40.
Yes. So that's what I told you, no, in the beginning, that when uniform or continuous number of years are not given to you, you take the average and then directly calculate the cost of equity and cost of retained earnings. Because had the rate been uniform and also the date being continuous, then you would have calculated the growth rate. Then you would have added a plus G to this, isn't it? But here you cannot calculate the growth rate. That is why what you will do is you will use the normal formula without the growth rate, that is earnings per EP by MP. Understood? So EP means what? Earnings per share. MP means market price per share. So when the rate you cannot calculate, rate of growth you cannot calculate. So what you will do is you will take average of the 3 years. Okay, you will take average of the 3 years given, and that you will take as the final earnings per share. That is how you will get 6 and 40. Okay. So similarly, you calculate for reserves and surplus also. It will be same, because I told you let us use one formula. So that's how you will get 15% and 15% for both equity share as well as reserves and surplus. Now I will not tell you this one, because now you will use the formula that was previously given, and then you will calculate the cost of debt and write and fill up the third column's last two values, that is 7.5 and 7, how they are coming. You check your formula that was given previously, and then calculate it. Okay, do on your own, otherwise you will not understand anything. So do it. If you are unable to do, then tomorrow in the class we will discuss. But I will not tell you that how to do it and then you will do. Because once I tell you how to do it, you people, most of you do not do it in your copy. I don't know how many of you are listening to me also. That also I don't know. But still, those who are listening to me, please calculate the cost of debt for the two things that are given. That is 15% non-convertible debentures and 14% institutional loan. For these two, you calculate the cost of debt and match with this answer whether it is 7.5 and 7% or not. Okay, after that you will calculate the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, this much for today. So don't ask me any question, you do it on your own, because if you don't try you will not learn. So you do it on your own, the calculation of cost of debt part, and then you calculate the weighted average cost of capital. All right, I have given you attendance while you were solving. I took the pictures and then put the attendance. Okay, so you can leave, give it a try, do it, positively do it. You just have to go back to your notebook and see the last papers. Okay, when we started this chapter, I started with the formula. No, we spent so many days in writing the formula. So you check those formula, apply those formula and calculate the cost of debt. Then you calculate weighted average cost of capital. Okay. All right then. Bye bye for now. See you again tomorrow morning. And I don't want to hear that you could not do it, you had a problem or something like that, because